There are many cultures with unique traditions, but surely you would never have imagined that in one corner of the planet, women are encouraged to engage in intimate relationships with each other to gain experience. In this new video of Uncensored World, we are going to know Botswana, the country with the shortest border in the world, and also one of the most unexplored, but at the same time fascinating on the planet. Botswana, one of the most beautiful countries in Africa, and the largest producer of diamonds in the world, a place with traditions as surprising as that of the Kung women of the Kalahari Desert, who are used to play intimate games with each other before doing it with men. One of the best places to discover the African fauna and beauty. A country with such extraordinary curiosities as the ritual of the Dikopelo, where different soothsayers predict the future by throwing bones on the ground, being one of the countries with more parks and nature reserves in the world, or contain the San tribe, considered the oldest inhabitants of the planet. Pay attention and do not miss this video because we assure you that discovering Botswana and its wonders will surprise you. Let's get started. Botswana, officially known as the Republic of Botswana, is a country located in southern Africa. It is bordered by Zambia and Namibia to the north, and is the border with Zambia, only 150 meters long, the shortest border in the world. Apart from these two countries, it is also bordered by Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Angola. The country has an area of approximately 581,700 square kilometers, similar to that of France, ranking it as the 48th largest in the world in terms of size. Its population, according to recent estimates, is only around 2.5 million inhabitants, making it a very sparsely populated place. This low population density contributes significantly to the preservation of its incredible wilderness, one of the characteristics that make this country a unique destination in the world. Botswana is widely recognized as one of the best places to discover African wildlife and immerse yourself in the continent's natural beauty. Its vast expanses of national parks and wildlife reserves are home to an incredible diversity of species, from majestic lions and elephants to agile gazelles and elusive leopards. The famous Okavango Delta, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is just one of the many breathtaking places where visitors can experience the magic of African wildlife at its purest. Considered by many to be one of the most beautiful countries in Africa and the world, Botswana offers spectacular scenery, ranging from the deserts of the Kalahari to the lush delta lands. Its golden sunsets over the endless plains, its star-filled night skies, and its serene and tranquil atmosphere are unforgettable for those lucky enough to explore this natural African treasure. In terms of climate and geography, much of Botswana is covered by the Kalahari Desert, which influences its semi-arid, subtropical climate. However, despite its name, the Kalahari is not a true desert, as it receives a moderate amount of rainfall throughout the year. The rainy season generally occurs from November to March, while the driest months are from May to October. In addition to the Kalahari, Botswana is also home to the Okavango Delta, one of Africa's greatest concentrations of wildlife and one of the world's most incredible natural wonders. The Okavango Delta is one of the most spectacular wildlife viewing destinations in Africa. It is also the largest inland delta in the world and is formed by the seasonal flooding of the Okavango River, which overflows during the rainy season, and creates a maze of canals, lagoons, and magical wetlands for those lucky enough to observe them. This lush oasis attracts an abundant variety of wildlife, including elephants, whose population is the largest in all of Africa, as well as lions, giraffes, zebras, hippos, and a wide range of waterfowl. Mokoro safaris, the name given to the traditional tribal canoes in Botswana, are one of the best ways to explore this aquatic paradise and offer a unique wildlife viewing experience from the tranquil perspective of this fascinating corner of the earth. To discover the Okavango Delta, there is a wide range of activities, ranging from 4x4 vehicle safaris to guided nature walks and excursions on boats such as these Mokoro, which are most beautiful at sunset. In addition, some camps offer exclusive experiences such as elephant rides and encounters with local communities, which provide a deeper insight into life and culture in the region. Among these communities, the San tribe is surely the most extraordinary not only in Botswana, but in most of the planet. This tribe, also known as Bushmen, is one of the oldest and most fascinating indigenous cultures in Africa and in the world. The San have inhabited the southern African region, including Botswana, for thousands of years, and have developed a deep connection with the land and nature. The San are expert hunter-gatherers and have developed unique techniques for surviving in the desert and semi-desert environments of the region. One of the most distinctive features of San culture is their unique language, which includes a variety of clicks and clacks. This complex and musical language is fundamental to communication among tribal members and has been passed down from generation to generation for centuries, a language you would surely struggle to understand if you ever get the chance to meet the San. In addition to their hunting skills and distinctive language, the San are known for their ancient spiritual traditions and deep knowledge of the local flora and fauna. They have developed a rich tradition of myths and legends that explain the origin of the world and the relationship between humans and the natural world around them. Among these ancestral rituals, one stands out for its aura of mystery and fascination, the Dikopelo. This ancient ritual, practiced by the San and other tribes in the depths of Africa and Botswana, has been passed down through generations as a sacred connection to the unknown. On dark and silent nights, diviners gather in secret circles where bones are thrown to the ground in a meticulous ritual. This seemingly simple act hides a hidden power, capable of revealing the secrets of the past, present, and future, just by the arrangement of the shapes and patterns on the ground. Only the diviners of these tribes can understand the mysteries that await in this dance of bones. These hidden truths that they manage to interpret make the Dikopelo be seen as more than a ritual, as a portal to the supernatural, a window to the unknown that many of the tribes that populate the enigmatic Botswana believe in. In Botswana, tours are conducted to learn more about local communities such as this one of the San tribe. These tours offer visitors the opportunity to learn about this unique culture firsthand. Tours like the ones to the diamond mines of this country, although the latter are probably much more controlled. Botswana is the largest producer of rough diamonds on the planet in terms of value, and this is the most important economic engine of the country. That is why the country has created tours that offer tourists the opportunity to visit diamond mines, although the availability of these tours may vary depending on the mine and local regulations. One of the best-known diamond mines in Botswana is the Jwaneng Diamond Mine, one of the largest open-pit diamond mines in the world that has a very important impact on the country's economy. On these tours, visitors can learn about the history of diamond mining in Botswana, as well as the process of diamond extraction and processing. Despite its wealth of natural resources, Botswana has worked to diversify its economy and reduce its dependence on diamonds. Among these other activities are safaris, which represent a unique experience in this country. Botswana is world-renowned for its impressive variety of wildlife and vast protected areas, making it one of the world's favorite safari destinations. The country is home to one of the largest concentrations of wildlife in Africa, making it a special place to discover the Big Five: lions, elephants, buffalo, leopards, and rhinos. Botswana's national parks and reserves offer the unique opportunity to witness these majestic animals in their natural habitat, in breathtaking and varied landscapes ranging from the vast plains of the Kalahari to the wetlands of the Okavango Delta. In terms of languages, English is the official language of Botswana and is widely used in all areas, both governmental and commercial. However, Setswana, also known as Tswana, is the national language and is commonly spoken throughout the country. The name Botswana comes from the Setswana term Botswana, which means the place of the Tswana. This name reflects the importance of the Tswana people in the formation and identity of this country. Before the European colonization of Botswana, This region was inhabited by several tribes and ethnic groups, such as the Swana, who were the majority, the Sanyu recently met, the Khoikhoi, and the Bantu, among others. These tribes had their own social structures, cultures, and ways of life. The history of European colonization in Botswana began in the 19th century, when European explorers and settlers began to settle in the region in search of natural resources and trade routes. However, unlike many other parts of Africa, Botswana managed to avoid colonial rule and maintain its independence for most of the colonial era. One of the key factors contributing to this independence was its apparent lack of valuable mineral resources at the time, such as gold, which attracted European settlers to other parts of Africa rather than to Botswana. Although Botswana today is the largest exporter of diamonds, in those years the people of Botswana were fortunate that the diamond industry did not develop until after the country's full independence in the year 1996. In addition, local tribal leaders in Botswana managed to establish alliances with the European colonizers. Thus, during the colonial period, Botswana was known as the Protectorate of Bechuanaland, and although it was under British influence, it maintained considerable political and administrative autonomy. To learn about Botswana's present, there is a Hollywood movie entitled A United Kingdom, which tells of an interracial love story between Seretse, who was the heir to the throne in Botswana, and Ruth Williams, a white British woman, who defied the opposition of the British Empire at the time. For Botswana, more important than the love story would be what would happen next. Seretse would come to power, and under his presidency, between the years 1966 to 1980, Botswana would maintain one of the best human rights records in all of Africa. The country thus became a model of freedom, democracy, and racial equality. Seretse Khama's government embodied historic lessons on how the incorporation of human rights in policymaking can serve the fundamental interests of the state and deflect differences and conflicts. Botswana faced complicated challenges at the time of its independence in 1966. The country was surrounded by hostile white minority regimes in South Africa, Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, and Southwest Africa, now Namibia. On top of that, Botswana was impoverished and dependent on its neighbors. Seretse Khama and his party, therefore, focused on establishing a non-racial democracy based on the ideals of human rights, and on diversifying its economy. Aware of the volatility and limitation of relying exclusively on revenues generated by the diamond industry, the country's political and economic leaders have since actively promoted the expansion and strengthening of other key sectors, such as agriculture, tourism, manufacturing, and financial services. This has led to greater economic stability and reduced vulnerability to changes in diamond prices and demand in international markets. It was for this reason that Seretse Khama's government created Botswana's constitution years ago, with the intention of guaranteeing the rights of individual citizens, regardless of their racial origin, laws that help the country and its population prosper, to become one of the most developed countries in the African continent. Unique rights and freedoms that have a lot to do with one of the most striking traditions of this country, that of the intimate relations of the women of the Kung tribe. The Kung women belonging to this tribe of the Kalahari Desert have for centuries maintained a unique tradition involving the exploration of female sexuality through intimate relations with each other before having relations with men. This practice is considered a rite of passage for young women, where they learn about their own bodies, mutual pleasure, relationship dynamics, and consent before marrying or committing to a male partner. These intimate encounters between women are not only accepted, but also encouraged within the community as an integral part of the intimate and emotional development of these young women. For Kung women, these intimate games with each other are not only a way to explore their sexuality, but also to strengthen community bonds and pass on knowledge about intimacy and pleasure. In Kung culture, freedom is highly valued, and women's autonomy to make decisions about their intimate lives is respected. This inclusive and respectful approach to female sexuality contrasts with many other cultures that impose restrictions and taboos around women's intimate relationships before marriage. According to the traditions of these African tribes, such is the freedom of these populations, and so different is the way of looking at the world in these societies, that married women usually have male lovers to continue accumulating experience. Apart from this unique way of understanding and transmitting their knowledge and culture, the Kung are world famous for their egalitarian social structure, which is reflected in their lack of leaders or chiefs. According to anthropologists, the Kung are one of the few African tribes without chiefs, which allows them to make decisions collectively, and they value equality among community members. This communal approach extends to their way of life, where they share resources and knowledge. Without hierarchy or class, the Kung seem to have realized something that most humans and governments have overlooked: the importance of free time to enjoy life more and better. In a reality in which competing is useless, and it is not the one who has more but the one who needs less, the Kung have learned to live life as few societies in the world. That is why one of their most important differences and qualities has to do with their working time. A very short working time, since the Kung spend a maximum of 2 hours a day in subsistence activities, which leaves them plenty of time for leisure, socialization, and enjoyment of community life. This way of life, based on cooperation and adaptation to their environment, has been the subject of study and admiration by researchers and people interested in traditional and sustainable societies. Thinking about it, we take the opportunity to ask you, what do you think of the Kung and their ancient traditions? Do you think it would be better a world where people work 2 hours and enjoy another 22? Pause the video and leave us your comment. Doing so is the best way you have to support Uncensored World to grow and keep working to bring you the best content every week. So thank you. Something that few know is that Botswana is one of the most stable and democratic countries in Africa, with a long history of democratic government, besides that it is also one of the safest countries in Africa, with low crime rates and a welcoming attitude towards foreign visitors. A set of reasons that will surely help this country to continue developing a sustainable tourism that will allow it to remain as one of the most developing countries in the African continent. With this in mind, we will now try to help you organize a trip to this country by telling you how to get to, enjoy, and move around this incredible country. To get to Botswana, the most common way is through Sir Seretse Khama International Airport in the capital, Gaborone, which has connections to several major international airports. From there, ground transportation services can be used to reach various destinations within the country. The country's official currency is the pula, so it is recommended to change some cash to this currency once you enter Botswana, although it is also possible to use credit cards in most urban establishments. As we mentioned, the official language of Botswana is English, which makes communication much easier for international visitors, even more so in recent years in which the development of the country has helped the literacy and knowledge of the country's population has improved a lot. Prices in Botswana can vary, but in general it is considered a relatively affordable destination compared to other African destinations. A cup of coffee or a beer usually costs no more than $1, while upper mid-range hotels are usually no more than $100. The main activities in Botswana include safaris in some of the continent's most famous national parks and wildlife reserves, such as the Okavango Delta, Chobe National Park, and Moremi Game Reserve, one of the best places in the world to see predators in action, including lions, leopards, and hyenas. Safari prices may vary depending on several factors, such as the length of the safari, the level of luxury of the accommodation, the time of year, or the services included. In general, a 2-day safari in the Okavango Delta, with accommodation in a basic camp or safari tents, usually costs between $400 and $800 per person. In addition to safaris, there are also opportunities for outdoor activities such as hiking, bird watching, boat trips, and cultural visits to local communities. As for visas, most visitors will need to obtain one prior to arrival in Botswana, although this varies according to nationality. It is therefore always recommended that you check these visa requirements with the Botswana Embassy or consulate in your home country before traveling. From World Uncensored, we hope this tour of Botswana has been as fascinating for you as it has been for us. We are sure that there are not many places in the world as extraordinary as this region of the planet. Thinking about it, and the effort it takes us to make these videos. If you have enjoyed this video and you are not yet subscribed, don't wait any longer and do it now by activating the little bell to not miss the fascinating videos we make every week. Videos like this one that you can enjoy now, to know another of the most fascinating corners of the planet. Don't miss it, and discover the wonders that this place has to offer.